Over the last week, I've been camping out of an Overland trailer, and I've had quite a few questions on how I liked it compared to a rooftop tent. I want to start by saying, excuse all the dirt and dust that you see on this thing. I just got back from a 6-day expedition across Washington State, and it's super filthy. I need to take it out of here after I film this video and wash it and get it ready to send back to the manufacturer. So Mammoth Overland let me borrow this trailer for a week to see what I thought about it. And it was awesome to use a trailer for the first time off-road. There are lots of pros, lots of cons, and we'll talk about that in this video. But I do want to start by saying this is a pre-production model, meaning there's tons of little details that are going to change before they get to the production model. So for that reason, they don't want me to do a full walk around on this trailer, and so we won't. We're going to talk about trailers in general. I want to talk about the different things that I love, features that I liked having that just apply to trailers as a whole. And then in a future video, once they get their production models all up and running, we will maybe bring one of these back in here and we'll do a full walk around and talk about all the details you get with this trailer specifically. So this video is for those of you that are wondering, should I do a rooftop tent or keep just doing the ground tent thing, or should I upgrade all the way up to a trailer? I want to answer all those questions, and we'll just talk about my thoughts on using a trailer for the last week. I turned on all the lighting because I think the lighting on this thing just looks so rad. And it makes it look like a spaceship. So anyway, that's why everything's changing colors, because I put it on this mode where it just changes colors and whatnot. So my favorite part of this entire trailer, to be completely honest with you, was the kitchen. Inside is outstanding. It was great. It was comfortable, all that, but I'm a kitchen guy. I like having a place to wash my hands if I get dirty, or fill up a dog bowl, or rinse out a dog bowl. Having all this weight on an extra set of axles for like your fridge. You're either gonna have a fridge or you're gonna have a your cooler or whatever, and to have a place that is going to hold all that weight for you and it not be connected to your little Toyota Tacoma like me, makes it ride so much better, and makes it to where you can carry much more weight, be much more comfortable, and not have to worry about exceeding the cargo capacity on your truck. Speaking of weight, that one of the heaviest things that we carry when we go off-road is water. This has an onboard water tank. I think it's between 20 and 25 gallons, something like that. You fill it up here, and then here, I'll just show you real quick because I think the water pump's on. Pretty sweet. You've got running water, and it was super convenient throughout this last week. So when it comes time to sleep, gosh, it is nice to be able to just pop up, just open up this door and you're ready to go. So for those of you that travel cross country a lot, I mean, if you're going to Washington State from Washington State to Florida, you're going to want to pull over and sleep at some point, and to be able to just pull into a rest area, slip back here and take a nap is, I mean, that's a big benefit. Let's be honest. With a rooftop tent, if you open it up off the top, I mean, that's going to take up more parking space wherever you decide to set up, and it's just more work. Whereas in this case, you could just open up a door. If you've got all your sleeping gear all set up, you just slip into your sleeping bag or under a blanket and you're off to the races, which is a huge selling point. In that same vein of thought, this is like, I don't know exactly how it's constructed because I didn't ask, but it's definitely like double insulated, meaning there's a layer of aluminum here and a layer of aluminum on the inside. So it was really nice and quiet, and it was definitely well insulated in terms of like the temperature. So it would get a lot cooler outside than in the temperature that was maintained inside, which made it for a very comfortable night's sleep. You're gonna hear me touch on this subject multiple times in this video, and that is cargo capacity. To have extra places to store all your gear is paramount. It's so huge when you're going off-road, especially if you have a family. If it's just you and a dog, you can definitely get away with way less gear than the rest of us, but I've got 2 kids that I want to keep comfortable. I've got a wife I want to keep comfortable, and being able to put so much extra cargo on another set of axles is, I mean, it was just awesome being able to store so much extra gear. And in that same vein of thought, when it comes to storing your gear, how nice is it if you get home on Friday and you don't have to pack up all your camping gear? If you keep this thing loaded, this is something that Brad with Trail Recon talked about whenever him and I were talking about trailers. He loves the idea of being able to just come home from work on Friday, back up his Jeep to one of these trailers. He can hook up to it and go, because he just keeps all of his camping gear stowed away and organized, and he doesn't have to worry about forgetting something important because it's all in there and it's ready to go. So that is a huge feature that you're not going to get out of a rooftop tent like what I've got on my disco here. One last thing that I liked about this trailer, and I don't think that all trailers have this, but this trailer did, that's hot water. It was pretty sweet being able to wash dishes with hot water, and if you wanted to take a shower or something like that, or just rinse off, you can hook up a shower to this bad boy, and you've got some hot water to rinse off. So far, I've just covered all the peachy reasons to own a trailer like this or to use a trailer like this, and there's a whole bunch of cons you need to think about. One, the obvious one, where do you store it? If you don't have a garage, or like let's say you live in an apartment or you live in a place with a homeowners association, you might have to pay to store this somewhere or have a buddy or a family member store it at their place, and that's kind of a pain. For me, that's not a deal breaker, not a big deal. I've got room for trailers. In fact, I have a couple different trailers. So the other thing that you should consider is if you are a newer off-road driver, you're a little bit less experienced, it takes some getting used to navigate this around obstacles if you want to go to the kind of terrain that I was just at last week, where we're having, I mean, you're going to take this $22,000 trailer and you're going to get awful close to trees and rocks and obstacles, and it's something that you're going to have to consider. Do you actually keep it cool in those situations, or is it going to ruin the trip for you? So that's something else to consider. But if you're the kind of person that just wants to grab one of these, go to national parks, be able to like sleep, you know, right next to a lake or a river, and there's not a lot of obstacles in your way, this is perfect for that. Or even just have a place like we talked about earlier where you can pull over and sleep at a rest area very conveniently and very easily. Now, the last con that I want to talk about is the biggest one, and that is the price. This is actually a super affordable trailer at $22,500 when you compare it to everything else on the market that checks these same boxes. I mean, this is half of what other ones cost. There are definitely $40,000 trailers that are like this. But even at $22,500, that is outside of a lot of people's budget. That's a big commitment to make so you can be comfortable off-road. So that's something else to consider if you want to start daydreaming about picking one of these up and making it to where your whole next summer or even winter is full of comfortable off-road living. You've got to make sure that this is something that's in your budget and you're prepared for that sticker shock whenever you start looking into a trailer like this. Over the last 10 years in the United States, the popularity of rooftop tents has absolutely exploded, and this is for good reason. They can be fitted to almost any vehicle with the right supporting mods. They free up some extra storage space inside of your vehicle, and they lift you and your family up off the ground, away from rocks, away from spiders, scorpions, snakes, or even something like a bear. This tent is from a company called Hills Off-Road Gear, and this is a hard shell style tent. So for those of you who don't know, you can get a soft shell or a hard shell style. The soft shells are usually a little bit less money. I do have a soft shell on my tow truck, and I do actually really like that tent a lot, but the setup on soft shells typically is longer than a hard shell, and personally, I really like the look and design and sleek feel of the hard shell when everything's collapsed. The very first thing you should consider with a rooftop tent is that if you don't like ladders, you don't like rooftop tents. A lot of people probably don't even consider this before ordering one, but if you need to go to the bathroom, if you need to get your pillow because you forgot it, you want to get a drink of water, you're going to be going up and down this ladder a ton. So if you are like retirement age, or if you're a little bit overweight, just remember you're going to have to bring yourself up and down this ladder constantly anytime you want to get in and out of this thing. The second thing to consider is that you have to have a roof rack. So it's not just the cost of the rooftop tent you need to consider, it's the cost of the rack, and you need to make sure you have a vehicle that has options available to you for a rack that is designed to sustain the weight of a rooftop tent. This tent is about 150 pounds plus the weight of the rack. It's all on the very top of the vehicle, and you absolutely feel it going down the road and going down the trail. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. It's a lot of weight to put way above your head, and it's just a whole lot of leverage to jerk that vehicle around when you're going over bumps and stuff. Now, huge benefit of rooftop tents and of the trailers that we were talking about is that the whole inside is a mattress. I love this because I do not like air mattresses. They've always driven me crazy. Whether I buy an expensive one or a cheap one, they seem to always go flat eventually, and then you wake up in the middle of the night and you're just kind of sleeping on a rock. So I love the fact that that's not a problem here. Also, if we want to make this a true apples to apples comparison, here's our galley. We've got the whole kitchen here. And so it's all the same stuff you see in the back of that trailer. We've got a burner, I've got a fridge, we even have a sink with a hot water tank. And this is awesome, but this is weight. It all adds. This is what I'm trying to relay, is that the benefit of the trailer is that all this weight for all this stuff is now no longer on the chassis. So you've got the pro of Having a smaller package, you only have 4 tires to worry about, which is great. And, you know, it's so much easier to navigate through tough obstacles whenever it's just the Disco, you know, this Land Rover Discovery to worry about. But it's also a ton of extra weight on this Land Rover Discovery. So if it ends up being too much, or if you're uncomfortable driving a vehicle that has a whole bunch of top heavy weight, then it sounds like the trailer is probably the best option for you. Clearly, the path of going rooftop tent solves a lot of problems, but it creates other ones. And that's just kind of how the automotive space is. There's not really a one-size-fits-all solution here, and your vehicle that you want to build, the amount of kids that you have, or the amount of comfort that you want are all going to dictate and change which direction to go. And there's a third direction, which would be get the $30 sleeping bag, the $30 tent from Walmart, and a pack of hot dogs and cook on a fire. That's an option too. It really is. I would guess if you're watching this video, that's probably not you. Maybe you're new to the overlanding scene. You're trying to decide which path to go because you have a little bit of money to invest in this, and you want to make sure that you can keep your kids comfortable or your significant other comfortable, even your dog, whatever the situation may be. I can tell you from personal experience, the more comfortable everyone is around you and in your clan, the longer trips you can go on and keep everyone happy. 5, 7, 10, 14-day trips are usually not done by the guy with a $30 tent and a pack of hot dogs. Usually they're done with folks that have a little bit more comfort built into their kit. So anyway, before we just ramble on too long, I think that if you are new to this and you're trying to figure out which path to go, I would go on Google, type in Overland Expo, and just figure out a place locally that has these set up that you can go and just get into them. Like go get in a rooftop tent, decide if you don't mind going up and down the ladder, decide if it's the right size for you, all that other stuff, and then go get in a trailer. See what the benefits are of the trailer, because this is going to help you make a more informed decision when you've actually seen what it's like to experience these two tools, and then average that in with what your requirements are as an off-roader. Are you going to be doing hard trailers? Are you going to be doing light trails? Do you have 5 kids, or do you have no kids and just a dog? So these are all going to change and dictate what kind of vehicles you should build, whether or not you should do a rooftop tent, whether or not you should do a trailer, or whether or not you should just get a pack of hot dogs and go to Walmart and get the $30 tent. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I've got a whole bunch of how-to content on here. If you like stuff like this Discovery build and you want to see how I put it all together, I literally did the entire build start to finish on this channel. And there's a lot of hand fabrication here. So if you're into that, make sure you stick around. If you want to help support the channel, then go to thedirtlifestyle.com. We have t-shirts, hats, neck gaiters, all that kind of stuff. We also have a link to our Patreon account, and we are putting a lot of extra effort into our Patreon account now. So I'm trying to do an extra video a week that's just for the Patreon people. We're doing fan rides with Patreon people. So if you're into that kind of thing, make sure you join us on that community. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm @YourLifestyleNate. We'll see you next time.